It's peach day. All right, we're canning these peaches today. These guys have actually been sitting for a few days. When I bought them a couple days ago, well, almost a week ago actually, they were kind of hard. They were not completely ripe yet. Now they're good and ripe. You want your peaches to have that nice dark skin on them when it's time to come can them. But I knew I wasn't going to get to them for a few days, so it was all right that they sat and they weren't quite ripe yet. So, okay, today we are canning peach jam. Yay! I do not use the ball canning book for peach jam. I just never have. Yes, my hair's a mess. So I use sugar, and it's just what my grandma used, what my aunt used, what my great-grandma used for jams, because it's just simple and easy. And it's something that they always had on hand, which was really the key there. Puppy's barking. So the rule of thumb is 1 cup of sugar to 1 cup of berries or fruit that you have. Today I'm using peaches. We're canning peach jam, obviously. So I will try to use a cup to each. It just depends. I'm going to add some lemon juice as well, but we'll see. I'm going to take you along. You kind of wait and see how it thickens up before you know how much to really add, but just giving you the general rule. If you go by the ball canning book, which a lot of you have, and that's awesome too, you're going to use pectin. But I've never used pectin in any of my jams, so I can't even begin to tell you how much to use. Just kind of read the book. That's what the book is there for. Anyhow, let's get started. So as always, it's very important to have your station set up before you get started. If you don't, you're going to learn the very hard way that it's just not possible not to do it without it being set up. So I'm going to use 2 different kinds of cans today. I've got my jelly jars, and I've got these cute little jelly jars. Aren't they cute? And I'm going to do some of those to give away, like do as Christmas gifts and give to family and take some to my grandma and stuff like that. So these have been washed with hot soapy water, and now, just as I do with any of my canning, I think it's really important to have your jars stay warm. It's great if you wash them and dry them and set them aside, but it's really important for them to be hot when that hot jelly or jam hits it. So I keep them in the oven. I put my oven on the lowest temperature I can get it on, which is normally around 170 degrees, and they stay warm in there. When I'm ready to can, I bring them out in batches. So that's just a tidbit of information. If you have a dishwasher, obviously the dishwasher is an awesome way to sterilize these. I do want to give you a word of caution though. Many dishwashers, they leave behind a residue depending on the detergent that you use. If you're going to wash them in a dishwasher and your dishwasher allows it, I would just wash them in like a white vinegar solution rather than using, dish liquid or something like that. So awesome. Here we go. Okay, so I've got my canner. I've got hot water in here, hot tap water. I've got my rack laying. I don't want it to be down in there. You can tell I don't have this filled up all the way because I'm just doing jelly jars. So it's not like I'm doing quart jars or anything. So I'm going to bring this up to just about boiling point. I will not actually bring it to a boil until I get ready to put the jars in there. And what's going to happen is I will put the jars on the rack, and right at boiling point, then I'll drop them down in there so they kind of get accustomed. I've had jars break on me before, whether it be from hairline fracture in the jar or just be getting too hot. That's another reason why I put the jars in the oven, so they stay hot at all times. I don't want to take that chance of them breaking. So this is coming up to a boil in a few minutes. I've got my Dutch oven here. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to fill it up and bring it to a boil. I'm going to use this for a couple different things, actually. And then we need to blanch the peaches. That's the easiest way to get the skins off. I'm going to put them in here. They're going to stay in here for 30 to 60 seconds. Then I'm going to drop them in a bowl and run cold water over top of them. Put them out on a towel, and the skins will come right off. And that's what I'm going to show you next. Okay, so my water is right at boiling point. I'm going to go ahead and start now. You can wait until it reaches boiling point, but it really doesn't make a difference. They just need to be what's the word? Scalded, basically, for a few seconds. And then I actually have an old strawberry bucket that I put them in. I was looking for that yesterday when I canned my tomatoes, but I couldn't find it. So now I found it. It has these cool, super cool holes in it so that when I run it under the water just runs out. So let's get started. You're just going to drop your peaches in the hot water. Woo! Didn't mean to drop it that much. Might be able to get one more. Yep. And they're going to sit in there for about 30 seconds or so. This thing is a lifesaver. This is actually, I don't even know the proper term for this. A coworker gave this to me a long time ago. I worked for our local newspaper. And it's to bring like fried foods out of oil, but I use it so much during the canning process, like with peaches and tomatoes. It's a lifesaver. So once they've been in there for a few seconds, you're going to pull them out. You're going to put them in your bowl. I'm actually going to do one more batch before I put them under the cold water. I'm going to go ahead and cool these off really quick. Okay, so we're just going to pull the skin off just like that. See how easy that is? Now this first batch didn't go as long, but the second batch I let go a few seconds longer. Now if you have some peaches that are just really not ripe at all, then they're not going to peel well. These are going to go over here into a pan. But if they're ripe enough and you let them set long enough, they're going to peel. I do set these aside. I'm not a good multitasker, so I don't try to do everything at one time. So I am going to set these aside until I'm ready to actually put them in a pan to cook. I am going to tell you this year is the first year that I'm using evaporated cane juice instead of raw sugar, okay? I do not believe, because it's just cane juice, there's nothing added to it, I do not believe I'm going to have an issue with it, but that'll be a video for another time, I guess, to see if it held up well. So if you're canning jam, I would suggest you use regular sugar, refined sugar. Yes, I am using raw evaporated cane juice this year, but because I've never used it before, I'm not quite sure what the outcome is going to be. Again, I don't feel like it's going to be a bad outcome. I believe it will work just fine. I've used it for other things, and it's worked just fine, but I've just never done it with jam. All right, I'm going to continue this process, and then we'll take you to the next step. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. Hey, that's a really hot peach. I get to sing today because my kid's not here, and he always says, "Mom, I can't hear my music." To that I say, child, you need church. I know you can't tell in this video, but this is a long process, guys. It is. It takes a while to peel all these. So I typically know that one of these will fit into my Dutch oven. Okay, so I'm going to fill this one up, and I'm going to get started on putting this in my Dutch oven. Okay, so I'm getting my peaches in my Dutch oven. This is not quite a half bushel yet. I believe I might be able to get the whole half bushel in here. Now, how am I doing this? My dad has always said God made hands before he made utensils. So what we're doing, we're just taking the peach and we're squeezing it and squishing it. We're getting all that juice out. See all that juice in there? Squeezing it and pulling that pit out. Any of these stems, pull those out too. That's it. We're going to fill this up and get going. All right. There's one thing you're going to learn very quickly in my videos, and it's that I have a small kitchen. So I have switched off this back pan that I was doing these peaches in to this Dutch oven. Now, I did not fill this to the top because it's going to still release some juices. That's all the juice from the peaches, okay? Y'all, that's some nice looking juice. But so now what I'm going to do, I don't go by recipes. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I know that sucks. And, you know, I'm in the process of writing this cookbook right now, and it really is awful for me because, you know, everything that I make, it's not by recipe. So I kind of have to go and make a recipe for it. But anyhow, so I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. This is about 15 peaches shy of a half bushel. Okay. I really tried hard to get that half bushel in here, but I don't want to fill it up too much. Don't get that seed in there. Okay, so we're juicing 1 lemon into this. Lemon also acts as a binding agent, so it's going to help bind this stuff together. Get these seeds out so they don't fall in there. Because I'm not using pectin, the lemon juice will really help bring this together. Okay, so I've got my lemon juice in there. Lemon juice is also a nice preservative because, look at that, I got me a little stem. Here I am telling y'all not to put them in there, and I got one in there. It's a good preservative because it helps keep color too. For now, all right. I did not measure. I did not measure how many cups of fruit are in here. But I gave you the concoction, so it's normally 1 cup of fruit, or 1 cup of sugar per fruit. You can do a little more. Nobody's telling you you can't. Or you can do a little less. It's just not going to bind together very well. So I'm gathering I have at least 12 cups in here. So I'm going to start adding this sugar gradually. I have this on a low heat, so it's not going to start boiling yet or cooking yet. I just want that sugar to start dissolving. All right, it's starting to cook down. I did add a little pat of butter to this, which will help this foam go away. And it's just gonna have to cook down for a little while. All right, so I'm gonna be honest, I got really sidetracked, and I did a really bad job at keeping up with this, so I'm not sure how this first batch is gonna happen. But you know what? I'm taking you through the successes and the failures, so I think it'll be okay. I got my, it's been cooking down for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of mash it up with this masher. I think what happened was some of it kind of burnt on the bottom because my husband and son came home and I got sidetracked. I've been keeping up with it for so long. So I'm just kind of mashing up the rest of the big pieces. It's okay if you have some chunky pieces. I'm going to show you a few of these real quick, and then I'm just going to keep on going. So remember, these have been in the oven. I've got my tops over here in the canner. I'm going to put them in there real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and start ladling this in. You need a 1/4 inch headspace, guys. I don't have a measure, so I just gotta go with the flow. I'm gonna do some, then I'll put the lids on, then I'll do some more. Alright, you're gonna go ahead and adjust your tops on. Try not to touch the rubber ring. Junior, what are you doing? And then put your rings on at fingertip tightness. You do not want them to be tight, otherwise they will not seal properly, or the seal could be broken. I forgot to mention the last one. Wipe the rings off with a wet paper towel or a wet napkin or something. Make sure you wipe the lids off before you put your lids on. Or make sure you wipe the rim off before you put your lids on. Alright, I'm going to get the tops on these. We're going to go ahead and put them in the canner. We're going to process them for 10 minutes. I found my gripper here. Do you have to put them in a water bath canner? That's a question that is valid. I have done both ways. Oops, I forgot to put a ring on that one. I have done jams without a water bath. I have done jams with a water bath. Both have come out equally fine. So, really, it's personal preference when it comes to safety. Be at least 1 inch of water over to the tops of the cans. And there most certainly is. I'll show you. Right, so we're going to put the top on and let them go for 10 minutes. I actually have a lot more left. So I'm going to fill up the little jars while the other ones are going, like towards the end of their canning process. And then I'm going to have to wait for the other ones. The rest of the half bushel is going to have to just wait another day. Now this particular recipe with all of these peaches has filled up 12 4-ounce jelly jars and 12 8-ounce jelly jars. And I may even have to put some in some pint jars. So the second batch is cooking down. Now I want to kind of show you what kind of consistency we're going for here. Now it has not reached the consistency yet, but I want you to see it's noticeably, the liquid is noticeably getting thicker. It's easier to do this in small batches. See how it's starting to kind of cling to the spoon? You kind of gotta... We're going to let it go for probably about 10 minutes longer. And then I'll show you. Okay, so when you have it stirred it for a while, you're going to see this liquid on top. So this time you stir it, you see it's noticeably thicker than it was just a few minutes ago. And you're going to feel it with your spoon as well. It is noticeably thicker. See how it's kind of really slowly sliding off that spoon? Starting to stick to it. That's the consistency we want. We could even let it go a little longer. It's gonna be a little runny because you are using sugar. It will not really get thicker until the canning process is done and over with. But that's what we want to see. We want to see that broken down. See how it's broken down? And that, my friends, is how we make peach jam here on our homestead, only using lemon juice and sugar. This did set up really well. Tops are popping, and I've got another batch in the canner. And we're really enjoying it. I got a lot out of a half bushel, guys, so I'm not quite sure what to do with the other one. I might just start canning some pie filling and maybe just can some peaches. You can check out my how to can peaches with honey over on our blog. We love it. It tastes so good. We just really enjoy it with honey when we just can regular peaches. But yeah, we're getting a lot. This isn't even all of it. There's more in the canner. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do like, comment, whatever you wish to do. Happy homesteading and happy canning.